ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going back into the archives of Fortnite and looking at the top 10 rarest emotes or dances in the entire game. That's pretty much, I think, all I need to say. So before we do get into it, just make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and here we go. Okay, so before we get into anything, I did have one quick honorable mention. This is just one of those emotes that have been out forever, but not actually released in the store, and it might be canceled, but we don't know what the heck is going on. This is the distracted emote. It's kind of weird. Just a guy trying to get a butterfly with chopsticks. I can kind of see why it didn't make it to the shop. Now, will it ever make it to the shop? That's a great question that we don't know for this video, but I figured I would include it on this list just in case anyone was wondering what's going on with this one. Anyways, with that said, let's get into our number 10 spot, and this is going to be the wave. So actually, in a really interesting way, this was the first emote that a large portion of Fortnite players ever used. It was in the free battle pass at tier 5 back in season 2, which was the first season that introduced custom emotes. Back before season 2, you had the default dance in 3 different ways, and that was it. But at this point, they finally opened up those floodgates. And seeing as whether you bought the battle pass or not, you got this emote by playing like literally 2 games of Fortnite, this, for a lot of people, was their first ever emote. Nothing special, nothing fancy, but it is locked away behind the Season 2 Battle Pass and is something that will never return. Now, while it is extremely rare, obviously the thing holding this back from being any higher up on the list is just the fact that it was only at tier 5 and furthermore was part of the free Battle Pass. So, I mean, like, there's probably a ton of old dead Fortnite accounts that just have this on them that played back in those days. But really, like, basically anyone that played in season 2 has this emote. Now, moving on to our number 9 spot, this is Hula. Hula is a dance that was last seen in the item shop over 370 days ago. And on top of that, it has only appeared in the item shop over 5 total days. So it's clearly something that really just didn't have a lot of interest with the community. It's got a pretty low rating, and as an epic emote, I'm assuming that probably not a lot of people bought it. And even if they did at the time, no one has been able to get this one since, again, 370 days ago. And if we're being honest, I'm not really quite sure why it hasn't been out and why people dislike it so much. I personally don't think it's that bad, but apparently the rest of the community do. Now, moving on to number 8, this is going to be the robot. So the robot is the only season 3 battle pass dance on our list, and the reason it makes this spot is because it was part of the very, very upper tier. The robot was unlocked at tier 95 in the season 3 battle pass, so to get this one, you had to play a lot, or, you know, just buy it for like $100, but most people obviously played a lot. Getting to tier 100 in season 3 wasn't that much of a difficult challenge, and certainly not as tough as getting to the higher tiers in season 2 was, but it still took a bit of grinding. And by this point, Fortnite was really picking up steam, so the player base was increasing, but I still think that this is an emote that not a lot of people managed to get. I know a lot of people that started playing Fortnite in season 3, but most of them don't say they bought a battle pass until season 4, which is one of the reasons that the season 4 battle pass is often so praised by the general community. And anyways, with all those reasons on top of the fact that the robot is never coming back, it's an incredibly rare emote. Now, moving on to our number 7 spot, we're moving back to the shop here, and this is Chicken. So Chicken is a really interesting emote, and it's actually kind of come on and off this list a few times, and now it's back on it. The Chicken was last seen in the item shop over 420 days ago, so it's clearly not a top seller. And I think the last time that it was in the shop, people were also saying like, man, this hasn't been in the shop in like 200 or 300 days. It was one of the earlier emotes ever released, and was overall just an emote that nobody liked for very obvious reasons. I mean, it's just not good. It's quite simple. So with a combination of being bad 4 total days in the item shop and 420 days since we've last seen it, anyone who has got Chicken has got their hands on a very rare yet stupid emote. Now moving on to our number 6 spot, we're taking it back to the Season 2 Battle Pass, and this is going to be Ride the Pony. So like the Wave, Ride the Pony was also part of the free Season 2 Battle Pass, but this one took a little bit more playtime. Instead of being an absolute layup at tier 5, this one took at least a bit of consistent playing, needing to be unlocked at tier 20. I would say that's probably no more than 5 to 10 hours in the game, but is still, you know, something that required a bit of consistency. There obviously weren't a ton of people that played Season 2, so because of that, you know, this is, I still think, a very rare emote. Now, the thing that makes this emote really interesting is that it actually came out in Season 10. For the longest time, Ride the Pony was this incredibly rare emote, and it was basically just given to people who played Save the World. However, Epic made amends, and with that, they actually gave players who originally had Ride the Pony a new one, Pony Up. So while it's actually not really fair to say that Ride the Pony deserves a spot on this list, Pony Up has taken its place. And if we're being honest, I'm actually really glad this happened. Like, I had no attachment to that emote, but getting Pony Up, it was just really exciting. Not only does the emote add a Rainbow Smash pickaxe that the user holds, it's also traversal, so running around just doing the Ride the Pony dance is a lot of fun. It's also got a bit of updated music, and overall, is probably one of the nicest rare emotes on this list. Anyways though, with that said, moving on to number 5, we're going back to the shop here for the most rare shop item currently, which is Hitchhiker. Okay, so I guess I'm just weird, but when this emote first came out in the shop, I instantly bought it. I'm gonna fall over, okay. I instantly bought it because I loved it. And since that day that I bought it, it still hasn't returned to the shop. I actually think it was in the shop 2 consecutive days, but it's actually been 430 total days since then. So yeah, it's been a while. Now this emote actually has a really low rating, so I guess people just don't like it, but I did at the time, and it's really not something that I mind. Now I'm sure you can leave it to Epic to probably see this video the day it comes out, or maybe just hack into the future and see this video 2 days before it's out. They're probably gonna release this emote, you know, just knowing my luck, but yeah. As of the day we're recording this video at least, Hitchhiker is incredibly rare. And moving on to our number 4 spot, this was an emote that was free in the item shop, yet somehow manages to be one of the most rare ever. So Hot Murat was an emote that was released into the shop for free during a Wreck-It Ralph promotion. This was available in the item shop for one 24-hour period, again for free, and after that was gone. This was basically before the time where Epic would be like, hey, here's your free thing, and instead what they would do, kind of like same with the Rust Bucket, is just put it in the shop for free. So you didn't have to pay anything to claim it, but you did have to go out of your way to acquire it. And on top of that, you only had a 24 window to do so, which is what makes this one so rare. And I'm also pretty confident that this one's never coming back. I mean, unless there happens to be another Wreck-It Ralph movie related to the internet, and you know, they're like, hey, let's bring this back, we're probably not going to see this one in the Fortnite shop again, or really just in any way. So I'm guessing that this one is going to stay rare. Anyways, with that said, moving on to our number 3 spot, we've got the Worm. The good old Worm, one of the more actual pay-to-win emotes in Fortnite. All you gotta do is just dance in the water, well, back in the day when you could do that, and it was great. I gotta be honest though, the Worm is still, to this day, I think a pretty iconic Fortnite emote. This was part of the paid Season 2 Battle Pass locked away at tier 28. So I mean, again, it certainly wasn't an absolute grind to get the Worm. I would still say probably in that 5 to 10 hour range. However, Season 2 was a time where a lot of people were still not really sure where Fortnite was going, and really people just weren't confident in the game, so I think a lot of people chose not to buy this Battle Pass. So unlike the 2 emotes that were in the free Season 2 Battle Pass, this one is significantly more rare just because of that paywall. Anyways though, moving on to our number 2 spot, this is going to be Scenario. So I'm not really a huge fan of this emote, but I think there's no denying that it is quite rare. Scenario is part of the Iconic set, which was part of a K-pop themed, I think, Samsung bundle. During this promotion, you basically had to buy a Samsung Galaxy S10, S10 Plus, or S10e, and on top of getting Iconic, you would also get this emote. I mean, it's very fitting for the skin, but I just don't really like this dance all that much. But I mean, with all that said, I mean, obviously any dance that's behind a $1,000 paywall is going to be pretty rare. And so really the reason why this is so high is that Scenario just happens to be one of the only promotional deals that included a dance. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we get down to our #1 spot, I've actually got another few honorable mentions. So Rambunctious, Fresh, and Tidy are 3 emotes that have not been in the item shop for a very long time. These were 3 super popular emotes. I mean, Fresh was one of the first we've ever seen, and there's a significant reason why they haven't returned. Basically, there was a big lawsuit going on where the creators of these dances, so like Fresh was related to the guy who played Carlton from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Rambunctious was also Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Tidy was related to Snoop Dogg. And so basically what was going on is Epic was in a lawsuit, getting sued by these people. They ultimately did win it, but I think they were like, you know what? Let's just leave these ones here. We don't need to really like, I don't know, like add insult to injury to these people, you know, like really burn those bridges even more. So I think they've just decided to keep them out of the shop indefinitely. So because they're so popular, I mean, they're emotes that a ton of people have and therefore aren't really rare, but I think it is worth mentioning that they are most likely never coming back. So if you do have them, you at least have like a kind of special emote, I guess. And it's sad too, because especially Fresh is a really classic and cool one, so yeah. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, with all that said, at #1, I'm sure you guessed it, it's Floss. Probably one of the top 3 most popularized dances from Fortnite. Floss is really not that great in my opinion, but obviously what makes it so rare is it was the Season 2 Tier 49 dance. The last dance you could acquire in the Battle Pass, so that basically makes it the rarest in the game. Nothing special, but yeah, if you got Floss, consider yourself cool. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's our list for today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for making it all the way through on this one. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. If you're already subscribed, leave a like. My name is Patrick. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. Boom, 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 ba-na-na.
Enter my energy element. I am an entity walking ahead of the pack. I'm running in out of my head and it's evident that I will never.
Gift to Gab, man. He's really cool. Freedom, forum, flowing. Gift to Gab.